We strongly believe that decentralized compute, decentralized inference will fill the need and gaps of a lot of basic consumer use cases. Don't let price action and current narrative blunt your optimism for the future that is inevitable for us.
Absolutely.
The 1990s was an era of securitization. Everything became a security.
Yes.
The 2020s will be an era of tokenization. And that will cause the next, I would say, bull market that we believe in.
Hello, innovators, entrepreneurs, and risk takers. Welcome to another episode of Web3 with Sam Kamani podcast. And today on this podcast episode, I'm interviewing one of the most positive person I have met at Consensus Miami. He is one of the key person at CoinFund, one of the largest venture funds. So if you are a founder or a builder, then this episode is precisely for you. He is going to be sharing with us why he is so bullish about this industry, and despite whatever you might hear and see on the news or media. And as always, nothing that we talk about here should be taken as investment advice. And please like, share, subscribe, and follow. With all that out of the way, let's get into it. So Aziz, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. Looking forward to our conversation today on what we are building. We are right now here recording this in Miami live at Consensus. It's Consensus Week. There's lots of activity here, lots of companies. Before we get into CoinFund, would love to learn a bit more about your journey. How did you end up in this industry and in CoinFund?
Yeah, so I was actually, I got into crypto in 2016-17. I was playing an MMORPG game called RuneScape. And I was basically exploring how can I sell my RuneScape money into real dollars. And back then, the only path forward was basically selling it to Bitcoin and then converting Bitcoin into capital. And so that's basically how I fell down the rabbit hole of crypto, self-sovereign money, and Web3. Around 2021, I was actively looking for opportunities to work in the space. I ended up joining a family office, investing in crypto. And from there, I got incubated and started my own Web3 startup. It was a decentralized messaging protocol with AI agents where you could collaborate with an agentic workspace. We're pretty early to that thesis, and we ended up winding down the startup because it was too focused on consumer and we weren't able to find enough revenue generation within the products that we built. Took some time off, thought about the space further, and I believed in it even with everything that happened, and I wanted to continue working in the space. And I reached out to a few funds that I really looked up to, and CoinFund and Jake really stood out to me, and I ended up joining them as an investor.
Oh, that's fantastic. Great journey. I always admire fund managers and VCs who have had a founder background because they have a lot more empathy towards the founder's journey, which is never easy. I built a esports startup in the gaming space, and that kind of got me more interested into crypto because, or blockchain, because it's like we used to let our users connect to PlayStation, Xbox, Steam. None of the rewards or things and assets could move between them. None of the points could move between them. So we're like this is not right. People should have control over their own assets. They should be able to move. Theoretically, blockchain solves it. But of course, there were other challenges that every platform wanted to lock them in. that still exists, that challenge. And maybe we'll solve it. When it comes to money, it seems like stablecoins have solved that same issue in a very big global way, and that's why now it's the volumes are over like more than Swift or ACH these days, which is insane to think about. So what are the types of startups that you guys invest in at the moment? And
Yes, we're actually like chain agnostic, sector agnostic, and stage agnostic as well. So we invest across the board, across verticals, and across rounds. But some things that we've been really looking at and paying attention a lot to are regional and long tail specific stablecoin ideas, whether it be private stablecoins or regional to like something like say Brazil. So one of our investments back there was a Trace Finance that we're building a Brazilian stablecoin. Other areas that we're deeply interested in, actually like a core part of the thesis and fund, is decentralized AI. We strongly believe that decentralized compute, decentralized inference will fill the need and gaps of a lot of basic consumer use cases. You'll use the large models for like really in-depth research, but a lot of basic tasks can easily be executed with these local stacks. And I think one thing that that we're really also excited about in that space is the building out the economics within the life cycle of building a model. Right now, it's pretty centralized in terms of like it's like a high frequency trading organization where the power, the energy, the talent, and the compute is pooled into one, vertically integrated. We strongly believe that the amount of compute that exists in the world that's untapped will come on chain, and just like Airbnb let you give you elastic real estate, you will have elastic compute that will be priced in stablecoins, metered, and given to all the consumers at a cheaper rate. And so that's something we're deeply excited about, and we think that you're going to see the early innings of that really happen around 27, 28, as the AI market finds an equilibrium in like the demand and for inference and how much supply there is. The other areas that we're also looking at are we think post quantum, and quantum is an actual large event for crypto, and so we're looking at teams building out stacks, whether it be to enable post quantum or novel L1s that are quantum resistant from the scratch from the beginning. Those are some ideas that are quite interesting to us. But honestly, we love to look at all types of deals, all types of ideas. I think in many ways we're looking for founder market fit as much as we're looking for product market fit. And sometimes you'll come across a founder that you just know and believe that they'll be able to execute that great vision that it seems contrarian to everyone else, but to them it's so obvious.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like I have something to say about and share about all these three areas that you talked about. I was in Latin America just a few months back, or in South America, and like Pix is so popular in Brazil, and the volumes and the number of transactions are insane. And I think they're at the right point where the whole economy could move completely on stables and alternate payment methods and all that, banking rails. And because of that, a lot of developing countries and also developed countries around the world are looking at that and how that system is going. So I think there's going to be an enormous opportunity for everyone building on top of that, like how Stripe benefited from that type of the growth back in the e-commerce era. This is 2008, 9, 10, all that. And then so many products and websites and apps and things were built using Stripe in the back end for transactions. And I think same thing is going to happen to our industry. We are still maybe 2-3 years away from that. I don't know, maybe more, maybe you might have a better idea of how far away or how early we are yet, but I think that's the right time. Quantum computing, I saw the growth and I could not believe it. It's like 2 years ago or something, there was only 40 startups. Now there is over 4,000. And the growth is phenomenal. And I can only imagine what's it going to be like, the whole ecosystem in the next 2 years or so. And this, and then the third thing you talked about is the AI, the distributed AI, like whether it's inference or processing, like lots of compute or data or different aspects or energy of AI. What are you seeing in that space? Like, because now we've had LLMs for now 3.5 years. People have been researching on AI for very long, but LLM is what really changed, the usage and the how much people use, or billion plus people use LLMs every day. So why haven't we seen large scale adoption of distributed AI systems?
I'd say fundamentally there's a few reasons why. The first one is that when in crypto there's always this immediate assumption or goal for decentralization, when sometimes the end user, it produces an inferior product. And so if we produce products that are inferior to the Web 2 systems with our decentralized stack, it will not have any form of adoption or utility. And so as sort of the AI hit its mature, like first hype cycle and then approaching its maturity cycle, you're seeing the tokens per second for these local models go up, compressing via quantization. So a lot of the early foundational things necessary to enable this are appearing. I wouldn't say it's fully solidified yet. And that's why, again, we are actively investing and looking for the teams to bring this to life. And so so two things we did invest in that we think are like some of the most outlier in decentralized AI are Prime Intellect, which is a decentralized compute marketplace, and Reinforcement Learning Lab, and Pluralis. And so Pluralis is very interesting in that they let you train models in a heterogeneous computing environment where different models, different GPUs, and you can through data parallelism, you can basically split the weights and shard the weights such that you can train using something called subspace networks, and you can basically create a model in a decentralized manner such that if you put compute into that effort, you now own a percentage of that whole model. And so one of the things you're going to notice actually, which was a very contrarian take, but it's now coming to light, is the fact that everyone assumed the Chinese open source models would always be open and free forever. But now some of the big guys are saying, we're not really able to accumulate value by giving everything out for free. We're going to limit what we release later on. And so fundamentally, you're going to come to a point where the economics of a Chinese team just giving everything out for free, it's going to break down. And so in that assumption, how do we build a system where, again, we don't need this full verticalized energy infra compute? We can have a distributed network where you can build something and the economics work, where it's not being given out for free, it accrues value and it distributes it to the people that built that model itself. And so those two are very interesting. Things that we're looking for more as well are encrypted inference. So right now, Venice is attempting this where they do like private inference. We think there's better, more elegant technical solutions than Venice that could build better systems. And another very big thing is like memory systems, like long tail memory, in-session memory, cross-session memory, where your agent will remember the current session but not sessions across. How do you build a stack that is portable, that is user-owned, that allows them to take their context with you? If you think about models and agents, you can sort of say that they're execution environments for context. Okay,
they are indeed.
And so when you aggregate like that context, the harness actually is the very important role that plays in structuring the data and giving that right context to the user. And so the memory systems that you carry with you, we think that's going to be there's a certain level of a moat there where if you can capture the user memory in a self-sovereign store, they can take that with them like a sort of like a DID to the model providers that they go with. Those are some of the ideas that we're looking at in sort of the decentralized AI space.
That's very interesting. Even in like 2017-18 era, gamers had hardware like processors, like really high-end processors, and the hardware was lying around. So there was this narrative that, okay, why can't we use all these processors that are decentralized to mine Bitcoin or later on AI? But somehow, and I've met founders from a lot of these companies and some really well funded. Somehow they haven't, been profitable to the same extent. Why do you think is that? It's still, when it comes to data warehouse, everything, it's still very, very centralized. Like most of it is like big data centers and very, very centralized. Because you get efficiencies, I understand. Like, but then all the other, so are the other things that decentralization is bringing, are those not important? Are they inconvenient? What is the reason? Why haven't they gone big time?
I would say there's a few reasons. For certain products, decentralization creates more problems than solutions. And so when it comes to sort of like using, the first thing I'd like to say is like in 2017-18, the examples you're giving, the tech stack that exists now did not exist then to enable sort of like quantization. Quantization basically means shrinking the model into a more dense model.
Indeed.
But keeping as much accuracy in the responses as possible. And so those types of tools, infra, along with like streaming inference using like ASICs for inference, a lot of those did not exist, but they do now. And so I think, the one thing I'll say is when Bitcoin came out, and it was like a religion, everyone loved it. And then when Ethereum came out, the core Bitcoin guys refused to associate with it. They're like, there will never be anything after Bitcoin.
It's crypto always is a cult. Everything is a cult. Your religion.
And so the Ethereum guys came, it worked, and then there was now another example. Oh wow, this can work. And then the Ethereum guys gained power, notoriety, attention, influence, and they said Ethereum is it. There can never be anything else after that.
And then
lo and behold,
Solana.
Solana came.
Yes.
And so again, everyone said, all my friends, I was very early to Solana.
Yes.
All my friends deep into Solana, they're like, Solana is it. There will never be anything after Solana. And then Hyperliquid came.
Yes.
Again, everyone has this assumption that, like, what we have now, like, this is the end game.
Yeah.
You never have that assumption. And if you do, especially so it's very important as an investor to keep an open mind, to know that there could be something greater than what's right now. And so what I've noticed with, like, I've been through multiple cycles. Don't let price action and current narrative blunt your optimism for the future that is inevitable for us.
Absolutely.
The 1990s was an era of securitization. Everything became a security.
Yes.
The 2020s will be an era of tokenization. Everything will be a token because that's where capital is most respected, most liquid, and most able to transmute value amongst all individuals. And so what I think
100%.
is you're going to see 2026 as a stablecoin supercycle. That will increase on-chain GDP of the net digital dollars in the economy. That will then cause the normal cycle that we expect, where users look for higher risk yield, more novel assets on-chain to have their wealth stored in. And that will cause the next, I would say, bull market that we believe in.
Yes.
And so I think we're going through our dot-com bust moment where the attention, the AI has stolen all of our attention and talent.
Yes.
And but we're getting the Clarity Act, multiple sort of converging tailwinds happening at the same time.
Exactly right.
And at the same time, we now have a massive new customer set for stablecoins. Agents, they're going to use paper transaction. They're not going to use credit cards. They're not going to use debit cards. They need crypto.
For microtransactions, yes, they will use crypto, but for other things, why can't they use credit card?
They most likely will, because they're going to so agents will execute user intent, and if user intent natively has the credit card, debit card, they'll just execute it with that.
Yes.
But when it comes to agents acting out for themselves, they might not be able to use a credit card. They might want to have a wallet where they can stream money and get the services.
Yes.
They
very easy to have a DeFi wallet and all that. And X402, I mean the rise of X402, and I'm sure you've followed all that.
MPP,
so,
X402. I think you're seeing, the infra being built out. So imagine you did have a computer that you were doing in a decentralized network, but they had to pay you in a volatile currency, and so you wouldn't be, you don't want a volatile currency that you have to dump. But now they're paying you in stablecoins, and it's not volatile. And they're able to stream it based on the bandwidth you provide, the memory, and everything. And so again, I think you can't be pessimistic right now. There's too many good, amazing things happening at the same time.
Absolutely, I'm super optimistic because this has just been my experience since 2012 that I first tried to interact with Bitcoin, and it was too hard to mine in my laptop, and I was like, oh, this is so hard. I can't see my mother using it, mining and going to a shop, and because back then the narrative was just payments, nothing else. There was no smart contracts back then. And then the whole Mt. Gox thing happened and everything, and then everyone went away, and then everyone got like the crypto is dead, which I hear every 2 years, 1 year, all the time. That's always there. And then the whole thing happened with the ICO boom, and then the burst, and then the NFT boom and all that, and Web3 gaming and metaverse boom, and then the burst of FTX, and it just keeps happening over and over again, and every time the industry comes back bigger,
stronger,
and
bigger,
stronger,
and a new class of founders that are not tainted by previous assumptions and failures or ways of operating. Like the new classes of founders that we're seeing in the decentralized AI space are absolutely phenomenal killers. They're being augmented with AI agent teams that are able to help execute their vision much faster. And so, if you're an investor right now, like, you have to be looking at and seeing the immense opportunity in front of you.
Yeah, so it's like I was interviewing co-founder of Tether yesterday, and then he was saying that, so I was telling him that I was at Bitcoin Vegas last week, and this week consensus 30,000 people there, 20,000 for here in this conference, like this over this whole week, multiple events, side events and stuff and all that. And he was like, what, that many? Is like 12 years ago, it was just 25 people, 25 of us in a room when we organized a conference. and that's how far things have come. And at the Bitcoin conference, it was all institutional. 80% of the people were in suits. There was very, very different vibe. So the industry is definitely maturing. There is definitely trillions of dollars of institutional capital waiting on the sidelines to come in, because now once they get introduced. Bitcoin is the first thing they get introduced to as a part of their ETF, DAT, whatever they are trying to do. And then they realize, oh, wow, once you put on chain, you can do borrowing, you can do lending, you can do staking, you can do all sorts of things and create products so much faster than before, and we give access to the whole world, not just to US or New York or things like that. So that's why I'm super optimistic. When you talk to founders, how do you know that these are the good founders that you should invest in, or they're selling vaporware, or they have the true vision and you know they're gonna go the distance? So how do you? I mean, which is an art.
Yeah, it's definitely an art. And you know, one thing I'll say is like, I'm very technical. I never had a CTO in my startups. I was always the CTO and CEO, and it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to have a discussion with someone where I can very quickly read how technical they are, how accurate is what they're like selling to me, and also like the background of the founder, the eloquence of like how deeply they've thought about it. Are they able to predict what holes I'll poke? And before that, they've already assumed and answered those questions for me. How sharp they, and one other thing I'd say is like, MVP should be very quick to build, and like a hypothesis should be very quickly be able to be tested now, especially with this agentic era where you can really build software very quickly. And so what the difference now we're looking for is like, can we find high agency founders that have a unique edge in distribution to capture a market as quickly as possible and grow into a very powerful brand name and company. Those are some things like the basics that we look at. But investing is definitely an art. I think there's many signals that go to having conviction and before you bet on that horse. But we're actively betting. So
and I want to give you the stage to share about some of these founders or startups. What are let's just pick 3 that you are really optimistic about that CoinFund is in CoinFund's portfolio that you are really watching closely at the moment.
Yeah, I would say Veda. So Veda builds vaults, and they are probably one of the dominant, if not the dominant, vault infrastructure provider for a majority of all the neobanks and cards and all the things. So all the backend stuff is a vault on Veda, and they've done phenomenal in our portco. The other 2 I'd really love to highlight would probably be the ones I mentioned, Prime Intellect and Pluralis. They both of them are absolutely phenomenal, exceptional technical teams that have built out 0 to 1 infrastructure for decentralized AI, and they're already raising their next rounds very soon as well.
So what round are they in currently, and what round are they raising?
I believe they already did their Series A, and they're looking at a more larger institutional round from not just Web3 investors, but a greater crowd as well.
Yes, especially for AI. Yes, should be good.
Exactly. I would say those are the 3 companies that in our portfolio that excite me the most. That, I mean, vaults, like we've always talked about, like real world adoption. Like the normie is not going to go to different yield pools and try and get like insane yield, and then they lose all the money. They want a structured product vault where they just put money in, and all the risk is managed, and you get your yield out. And again, like these decentralized AI companies, they're a moonshot, yes, but it's with the assumption that there will be a price equilibrium that the market creates, such that decentralized AI is a competitive vector within the sort of like solution space that people are looking for in AI in general.
That's fantastic. And my final question is, what is your ask? Are you looking for LPs? Are you guys looking for founders, partnerships, anything? Feel free to share.
Just founders. We're looking for we're looking for founders that truly believe in that the vision of like crypto. They're able to execute on their vision. They're seeking novel distribution routes. They're approaching the problems from a unique lens that hasn't been approached before. Honestly, I really think if you go back to the 2020 to 2024 period and look at failed teams, failed startups, there's a lot of lessons learned such that you could take what they've done and probably make a working business. Sometimes in startups, it's right place, right time.
Exactly right.
And like that 2021 cycle, a lot of people had so many elaborate,
Yes.
phenomenal visions, but they're at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And so maybe now is the right time, and maybe it's you.
Yeah.
And so
That's fantastic.
I think we're living through the greatest time in history. Multiple tech trends are converging at the same time, and the worst thing to do is to not act.
Yeah, yep. So that's right, guys. You heard it from Aziz. So if it is you, reach out to him. I'll leave all the links in the comments and show notes and description, so you can do that. And thank you so much, Aziz, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Likewise.
That's it, folks, for today. And if you got value out of this conversation, you enjoyed it, then do not forget to share it with your crew and leave a comment, like, and subscribe so you do not miss the next episode, because we will be sharing a lot more insights and industry secrets as always. And also, nothing that we talk about here should be taken as investment or financial advice. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you're building something really interesting, then I want to hear from you. Leave it in the comments, reach out to me. You will find all the details in the show notes description, or just search for Sam Kamani. I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. Peace.